modani lefanecha modani lefanecha modani lefanecha modani lefanecha. In the quiet space, just try and feel the glow and the warmth emanating from the heart space. Perhaps put a hand on that heart area, and as you breathe in and out, gratitude just for this moment and this breath. Just trying to make ourselves as present as we can to just where we are right now. Noticing what arises if the mind starts to go other places, and just watching and releasing, and then coming back to the breath. Helping ourselves to stay present to just this moment. And taking that breath, Eloheinu Shama Shenatata Bi Tahorahi. My God, the soul you've placed within me is pure. Neshama, one of the Hebrew words for soul, just one vowel different from neshima, one of the words for breath. And our breath connecting us to all life, to all things, to the source of all being. And so if we are feeling weak, if we are feeling sometimes anxious, allowing our own breath to guide us to that sense of interconnectedness so that we don't have to carry the burden alone. That breath surrounds us, flows through us and through all living things. And perhaps we can allow it to carry us during those times when we feel most vulnerable. Eloheinu Shama Shenatata Bi Tahorahi. 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 Eloheinu Shama Shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama 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 shenatata bi tehorahi. Allow yourself to feel the sensation of the vibrations that continue after the chant ends. We take a moment in silence, just coming back to our breath. On your screen, I've placed 4 Hebrew letters that, if you are familiar with Hebrew, will be familiar to you, but you may not have seen them depicted in quite this way. Rabbi Arthur Waskow teaches that the instruction we have not to pronounce the name of God perhaps is not an instruction that one may not pronounce the name of God, but that the name of God is unpronounceable, that the letters without vowels cannot be sounded. But if you try, the closest you might get is the sound of breathing. And so he suggests that one way to understand this 4-letter name of God, Yud He Vav He, is in fact the breath of life itself. It is the foundation of all existence. And depicting these 4 letters this way gives us an opportunity to actually do a visualization using the breath. And we're going to breathe out and in and out. We start with the letter Yud, which is in the position of the head on the human body. And if we draw the idea of breath coming and connecting us to something beyond us, to feel that energy just above the head as we breathe in. And then as we breathe out, we're breathing out the letter Hey, and we're sending that breath across our shoulders and down our arms. As we breathe in again, we visualize the letter Vav as we breathe up and straighten our spine all the way up through the center. And as we breathe out one more time, we send that breath across our hips and down our legs, through the soles of our feet and into the floor. So we can look at the Yud Hey Vav Hey in front of us, or we can close our eyes and visualize those letters as we breathe in, drawing that source from just above our head, and breathe out, sending the air across our shoulders and down our arms. Breathe in, straightening our spine, feeling it fill the center, and breathe out across our hips, down our legs, and into the soles of our feet and the ground. Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. And continue on your own, sounding the letters or just visualizing them as you breathe in and out, in and out. And we're going to take a few minutes just visualizing the letters and following the breath. And just notice where you are right now. If you're still following the breath and visualizing, or if the mind has wandered. And just bring your attention back to this moment. Feel yourself grounded in your seat. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who's hallowed us with your commandments and commanded us to occupy ourselves with the words of Torah. This morning, the words that I'm going to share are not mine. They were written by Rabbi Shefa Gold. I'll add my own gloss as we go along. But I found a blog of hers that she'd written a little while ago that so spoke through the lens of the moment we find ourselves in, to me in a way that I felt might speak to others as well. So some of us were studying in our Torah study group just a little while ago this morning, and this week is Vayakel Pekudei. It's a double portion, and it's the description of all of the details of building the tabernacle, the Mishkan, the holy place. Mishkan is from the word shachan, to dwell. When God instructs Moses to instruct all the people and Bezalel and Oholiab to get busy building this tabernacle, it's build me a Mishkan that I may dwell among them, so that they can feel my presence there as they are on their journeys, to always feel my presence close by. So the Mishkan is the indwelling place. One of the names of God is Shekhinah. It's the same root. The feminine presence, it's a female word. It's a idea of the Spirit of God dwelling between us and among us, not just as a other force, but something that we actually create, that sense of presence by being together, by being in connection. So let me read for you a little bit of what Rabbi Shefa Gold wrote about this Mishkan. And as I said, I'll pause every now and again with my own gloss. She writes, the book of Exodus, mapping our people's journey to freedom, culminates in the building of the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary that we carried through the wilderness. Va'asuli mikdash v'shochanti b'tocham. Build for me a holy place so that I might dwell within. This commandment is the one that I hear, the one that guides me each day as I journey to freedom. Mishkan means dwelling place. Shochanti means I will dwell. And from the same root, Shekhinah, she who dwells within us. God will take us out of Mitzrayim, the narrow place, which she also interprets as the place of separation. And how timely is that Mitzrayim, a constricted place in which we are separated from each other, from God, will be taken out of that place in order that God will be our God, which means to be in connection and to know the oneness of all. So even in this constricted place we find ourselves in, perhaps through our own minds, through our own hearts, the way that we approach where we are, the way we approach each day with mindful awareness, with intention, we can free ourselves from this moment of Mitzrayim as well, and to feel that experience of being connected to others, and to feel that sensation of still being part of one. She says, how do we know that oneness? How do we come into connection? By building a holy place, by making a space in our hearts, our relationships, our communities, our world, for God's presence, for Shekhinah. And without that holy place, without that innerness, we are back in slavery, disconnected from the whole. She says, I make my heart into a Mishkan, a dwelling place for God, by cultivating an inner life, by listening into the silence, by being vulnerable to the beauty that transforms, by learning the power of wilderness, by clearing away the ashes of the past, and by honoring the Holy of Holies at my core. And from here, I can hear the voice of the Shekhinah whispering to me. So that's that practice of meditation, of stillness, so that we can bring that sense of connectedness to God's presence, to wherever we are. Sometimes in that moment of anxiety or panic that we might be feeling, of uncertainty, of wanting to know what will come next and when this will end, and all of that projecting ahead that we are unable to know in this moment. Simply coming back to the breath and taking a moment to breathe, we can find that inner Mishkan again. She goes on to say, I make my relationships into a Mishkan, a dwelling place for God, by stepping back in awe of my beloved and trusting the space between us as holy, by stepping forward in service, by taking responsibility for my own triggers, by acknowledging the mystery of love, by paying attention to the details of kindness. And from those spaces between, when we make connections with others, we will feel the presence of the Shekhinah speaking. What a beautiful way to think about what we do when we pick up the phone and when we ask someone if they need help, or if we simply just listen to where somebody is and what they're doing in this particular day, that very connection is creating Shekhinah's presence between us and among us. And then she goes on, I make my community into a Mishkan, a dwelling place for God, by honoring differences while celebrating our shared humanity, by making room for expression, by not being afraid of conflict, by having faith in the process of collaboration, by laughing together, by learning from our mistakes and inspiring each other with visions. From among us, Shekhinah sings. And again, this requires a kind of mindful awareness. I saw somebody post just a little while ago, maybe it was last night, one of the local community Facebook groups that I sit on for my own town. And I know many of us are part of town Facebook groups where people connect and share resources. And as one of the moderators, she said, please just notice that the last few postings, I've seen some people sort of jump on each other. You know, please be self-aware. We're responding from a place of our own anxieties, but we need to pause before we type and post. And we need to be kind to each other. And we need to be compassionate and generous of spirit, so that we use this space to create connection that's positive, and not simply project out our own fears and anxieties onto each other with short-tempered posts and reactions. So it was an important reminder of that in the social media space. We need to make space for the differences and the different needs that we have in our communities right now. And then Shefa Gold takes it to that next place outward. I make my world into a Mishkan, a dwelling place for God, by trusting my heart, honoring my relationships, building communities, by knowing and living the interconnectedness of all being. Well, if we did not appreciate and know the interconnectedness of all being before this COVID-19 virus, we certainly know it now. We have been made acutely aware of that which perhaps we were not living with awareness beforehand. She says we can bring the Mishkan into that world by taking those moments to feel unconditional gratefulness for the journey of life, and by spreading joy wherever I can. by keeping my heart open in compassion, by awakening the light at the core of the darkness. And from that innerness, Shekhinah shines. Shekhinah, she says, isn't somebody other. She lives wherever I build that holy place, wherever I make space for her, whenever I get out of the way. She whispers, speaks, sings, shines, whenever I am still enough to listen or transparent enough to channel her light. Shekhinah isn't some goddess outside of us. She is the force that underlies and unifies all that is. It's a beautiful teaching. And it felt so relevant to where we are with the situation, but also just a beautiful connection to the end of the book of Exodus, the completion of the building of the Mishkan, as we think about how we can build that for ourselves in this moment where we are. So I'm going to invite you to join with me in a chant. Some of you may know this melody. The original source is not from Jewish music, but Jewish communities have taken this melody and these words, the English, and taken phrases from Ma Tovu and placed it within this melody. So the verses of Ma Tovu, that's where the Hebrew comes from. And Ma Tovu is, how good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places. Your dwelling places. Mishkanotecha, the same root there, Shin Chaf Nun, to dwell, your dwelling places, the Shekhinah. And so I invite you to join with me. Adonai, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Mishkanotecha, avovetecha, hechol kodshecha, b'yiratecha, vani tefilati lecha, Adonai, et ratzon. Adonai, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Mishkanotecha, avovetecha, hechol kodshecha, b'yiratecha, vani tefilati lecha, Adonai, et ratzon. Yala la 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 la, 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 yala la la, yala la la la. Ya la la la, ya la la. Let's return to a couple of blessings to close our time together this morning. Sending out a prayer for healing to all those who are struggling with symptoms of COVID-19, and to all those who are struggling with any kind of illness, because seeking treatment and getting the help they need has become so much more complicated in this particular moment. So hoping that all those who need healing receive that which they need. And a blessing for all those who are our healthcare providers, who are offering that healing and placing themselves in greater risk at this time, that they are safe and protected and receive what they need as well. So giving you a moment to bring to mind any that you would like to send out a prayer for healing to. And to name yourself as well, so that this prayer for healing can come to each and every one of you. Mi sheberach avotenu makor habracha leimoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu makor habracha lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.